Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I'm going to make 3 parts to this video. I made 1 part yesterday. I'm going to talk about, I got sent a video by Christian about Dante's Boxing Nation. And I told you guys that I'm going to watch that video and then I'm going to break it down. Listen, I don't really watch a lot of other YouTube channels, to be brutally honest with you. I don't really watch a lot of other YouTube channels at all. I do my thing and I like to stay quite neutral on what I say. And I don't really have any narrative, right? When I make my videos, I think you guys or anyone that has watched my videos over time can see that, you know, I'm just a guy that is quite neutral. And I give you my honest opinion on what I think and what I see, what I think is happening in the sport of boxing. And listen, Dante's Boxing Nation, he's probably a guy that's been doing this for a very long time. He's probably been watching boxing way longer than me. He's probably a lot more knowledgeable than me, right? But I totally disagree with a lot of the things that he was saying in that video. I totally disagree with a lot of the things that he was saying in that video. Firstly, I felt like, and I respect his boxing knowledge, and I agree with certain things he was saying about the best should fight the best. But he was attacking Canelo fans, and he mentioned that Canelo fans aren't really boxing fans. Canelo fans are fans who want to see Canelo keep fighting and cherry picking easy fights and keep winning, and he don't want to fight the best, or they don't want to really see him fight the best because they don't want him to lose again, and they're afraid of seeing him lose. Now, I'm a Canelo fan, right? I'm a Canelo fan. You guys know that I like Canelo. As a Canelo fan, when have I ever said to you, right, that I don't want to see Canelo fight Andrade? I don't want to see Canelo fight Charlo. I don't want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. I don't want to see Canelo fight Bivol. I made a video a couple days ago saying that I want to see Canelo Alvarez fight Arthur Beterbiev because I feel that's the best fight that potentially could be made in boxing. I have Canelo fans, a lot of Canelo fans on my channel that come onto my channel. I have never come across a Canelo fan, right, that has said to me, I don't want to see Canelo fight Arthur Beterbiev because I'm afraid that he may lose to him and that might hurt Canelo's legacy. Like, what fan would say that? If I don't know what fans he comes across, and maybe Dante's Boxing Nation comes across fans like that on his channel or that post, but you're not a boxing fan if that's the kind of mindset you have. You're not a boxing, it's like you're not a boxing fan. I've never come across anybody. I've done live streams where I actually allow fans to give their say and come on. I've never heard a fan. Everyone's been unanimous on my channel that they want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. They want to see that fight. Like, nobody doesn't want to see that fight. Nobody doesn't want to see, like, Jamal Charlo, for example. Like, he mentioned that Canelo fans don't want to see him fight Jamal Charlo, or Canelo fans don't want to see him fight Benavidez. But I'm a Canelo fan. I want to see the Jamal Charlo fight. I've been doing videos about it, saying that I love that fight. I don't think Charlo wins that fight. Absolutely not. I don't think Charlo wins that fight at all. But I want to see that fight. I don't want Canelo not to fight. Like, I don't want to see Joe Smith. I want to see Canelo fight Charlo. I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. I want to see it. I want to see it. That's the fight I want to see. I've been making that for over a year now, that I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. So I don't know what select few fans he's talking about. Why, like, if you have that narrative where you don't want to see Canelo fight Charlo, you don't want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev, then I'm telling you now, you're not a boxing fan. Like, that's just not a fan. You're actually, as a Canelo fan, you're hurting Canelo's legacy if Canelo thinks like that. And the other thing he mentioned is that Canelo fans are happy with him fighting Rocky Fielding and things. Nobody's happy with those type of fights. I wasn't happy when he fought Yildirim, but Yildirim was a fight which he took just as a tick-over fight. But he knew he was going to fight Billy Joe. Like, here's the thing about Canelo's opponents. These are champions. Callum Smith is no bum. Callum Smith is no bum. I've seen Callum Smith here in the UK. You American fans, some American fans may not think I'm telling you, I've seen Callum Smith's whole career. He's no bum. He's a top fighter. Yes, he might not be on Canelo's level, but who is at the minute? Yes, Callum Smith didn't, he stunk out the gaff, and I gave Callum Smith a lot of, criticism for that. And yes, Billy Joe, was what he was. He wasn't very disciplined, but Billy Joe was a good fighter. Billy Joe schooled David Lemieux, absolutely took him to school. Caleb Plant, if I'm not mistaken, my friend Christian, you thought Caleb Plant was going to beat Canelo. So the point I'm trying to make is that, like, Canelo can't win, in my opinion. Like, he can't win. But no Canelo fan, or I have not come across a Canelo fan, and I speak to a lot of Canelo fans. We do live streams where they come on. What Canelo fan has not wanted him to fight Beterbiev or not wanted him to fight Charlo? What fans have said that I don't want to see him fight those guys? I'm a Canelo fan. When have I ever said that I don't want to see Canelo fight Arthur Beterbiev? Or I don't want to see Canelo fight Charlo? I've even said I want to see Canelo fight Andrade. I've even said I want to see Canelo fight Andrade. And when has Canelo fans called Charlo a bum, called Andrade a bum, called Beterbiev a bum? That's what Dante's Boxing Nation was saying, that a lot of Canelo fans call these fighters bums. What Canelo fan has called Arthur Beterbiev a bum? Like, which boxing fan calls Arthur Beterbiev a bum? You tell me, which boxing fan calls Arthur Beterbiev a bum? Please tell me, if you call Arthur Beterbiev a bum, you are not a boxing fan. You are not a boxing fan if you think Arthur Beterbiev is a bum. I promise you, Arthur Beterbiev is a monster. Absolute monster. And he could beat Canelo. 100% he could beat Canelo. That is a proper 50-50 fight. But I have a lot of Canelo fans. Which fans? He said that a lot of Canelo fans don't want to see Canelo Alvarez fight those guys. Which fans? Because if you don't want to see Canelo fight Charlo, Beterbiev, Andrade, then I'm sorry, you're not a fan of Canelo. Let alone forget that. You're not even a fan of Canelo because you're actually damaging his legacy. You're actually saying that, you know what, you don't want Canelo to be greater than Floyd and be greater than Pacquiao and be greater than all the greats because you don't want him to fight the top guys. So you're not actually a Canelo fan. You're actually hurting his legacy by having that kind of narrative. So what Canelo fan, you tell me what Canelo fan doesn't want Canelo to be the best? What Canelo fan doesn't want to see Canelo fight the best competition? No Canelo fan would have that kind of thought process. If you're a proper fan, listen, let me tell you something. I'm not a Canelo fanboy. I'm an Amir Khan fanboy, you know. He got me into the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao was a guy that, when Khan was coming through, Manny Pacquiao, I'm another fanboy of Manny Pacquiao. So with these fighters, I'm a bit lenient, right? Amir Khan in his prime avoided Kell Brook. That was a fight here in the UK that we all wanted to watch. right? And I'm a fanboy of Amir Khan. Hear this. Do you honestly think I didn't want to see Amir Khan fight Kell Brook in his prime? Do you honestly think that? And I'm a fanboy of... Do you honestly think that I didn't want to see Amir Khan fight Kell Brook? Answer me that. Do you honestly think that as a Khan fanboy, a massive fan of Khan, I didn't want to see him fight Kell Brook when they were in their primes? Because if you do, then I'm sorry, you're crazy. Because I wanted that fight more than anything. So all this stuff about, being, Canelo fanboys don't want this, that, and the other. Like, I'm a Amir Khan fanboy, right? And I wanted to see him fight Kell Brook. Because if I didn't want to see him fight Kell Brook, I'm not a fan of the sport. I'm not a fan of boxing. If I don't want to see Amir Khan fight Kell Brook, I'm not a fan of boxing. Here's another thing I want to point out. Because he mentioned Floyd in his video. How many Floyd fans justify him not fighting Amir Khan? How many? Oh, Khan's a bum. Khan can't take a punch. You honestly think Khan would have been able to beat Floyd? Khan, he got knocked out by Danny Garcia. He got knocked out by Bradis Prescott. He got knocked out by XY. He got knocked out by everybody. He got knocked down by everyone. So if it was that easy, then why didn't Floyd take the fight? Khan was a huge star, a huge name. Why? But nobody brings that up. But yet Canelo's ducking the whole world. And he said Floyd fought all these great fights. Yeah, Floyd did. But Floyd didn't fight Paul Williams. Floyd didn't fight Antonio Margarito. He didn't fight Amir Khan when people wanted him. He didn't fight Keith Thurman when people wanted him to fight those guys. So Floyd did his bit of share of not fighting the guys. And even Christian himself said that Floyd ducked Amir Khan. Floyd didn't want that fight Amir Khan. So what I'm saying is every fighter does that. Not just Canelo. Every fighter does that. But let me tell you one thing. All these fighters that you're mentioning, Charlo, Andre, Beterbiev, Bivol, I guarantee you Canelo will fight most of those fighters before he retires. We need to stop acting like Canelo's retired. The guy's 31. He's still got probably 6 to 10 fights left in his career. I guarantee you Canelo will fight not all of them. It's not possible for him to fight all of them. But he will fight most of them. I guarantee you he'll fight Beterbiev. I guarantee you he'll fight Charlo. I'm very confident that a Charlo fight will happen next. And I'm very confident he'll fight Bivol and Beterbiev. And then what's the excuse going to be if he fights Beterbiev and beats him? Oh, Beterbiev was an old man. Oh, Bivol he fought nobody. The fact of the matter is that no Canelo fan, like if you are that guy that doesn't want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev, then you're not a fan. I'm sorry. You're not a fan of boxing. Simple as that. Simple as that. And here's the other thing that he mentioned. He said that, Canelo fans will say, who is he for? And who is he for? I don't care. Listen, I know Andrade can fight. I know Charlo can fight. I know those guys can fight. I don't care that, for me, whenever I ever said, well, Charlo doesn't deserve a Canelo fight because who is he for? Andrade doesn't deserve a Canelo fight because who is he for? When have I ever said that? When have I ever said that? When has people that have come on my channel has ever said that? I just want to see those guys fight each other. Because I'm a fan of boxing. Like, why is it that Canelo Alvarez has to fight all of those guys? But I'm a fan of boxing. I want to see the best fight the best. Just like Dante's Boxing Nation said, I want to see the best fight the best. I want to see Andrade fight Charlo. But Canelo's ducking Charlo, Charlo's not ducking Andrade. Charlo clearly said that Andrade's a horrible fighter. He used exactly the same words as Canelo. But yet, where's that energy towards him? Yet, when you look at Canelo's resume, the guys that he's fighting are far better than what Charlo's fighting. At least Canelo's fighting champions. Andrade's not fighting Charlo's not fighting champions. Yeah, the reason why I'm not going to give Andrade that much stick, because Andrade wants to fight Charlo. Andrade wants to fight Golovkin. For some reason, he's not getting those fights. So I've sympathized with Demetrius Andrade. I do. Because I know Andrade wants to fight Charlo. But the point I'm trying to make is, why are we going to criticize a man that became undisputed in 11 months, fighting 3 champions in 4 fights, undefeated champions, right? But, they're bums. They're Euro bums. They're no good. Like, what are we talking about? You think Callum Smith and Billy Joe are bums? Come on, man. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't agree. I live here in the UK. I've seen these fighters. Christian messaged me and he said, we know Andrade from the amateurs. So we know you have not been watching Andrade as long. I agree. But you also haven't been watching Callum Smith and Billy Joe from the get-go. We have. So I know that those guys can fight. So when Canelo goes in there and takes them apart like he did, I give Canelo a lot of credit, because I know what those guys can do. I know that they were no walkover. But because you guys know about your American fighters more, and you've been seeing what they can do, and you haven't been seeing what Billy Joe and Callum Smith can do. See, Canelo goes in there and beats them easy, and then you think, because you haven't seen them, they're not very good. But you haven't seen what they've been doing as they were coming up. Billy Joe was a very talented fighter, was very highly rated across the amateur circuit, everything. You know, sometimes it staggers me that people, you know, one thing I've noticed about boxing, unfortunately, it is, at times it can be race. You know, I got into the sport because Amir Khan, because he was somebody from my background. But I was very neutral. I wasn't like, I want him to win and I want him to do well and all of that stuff. And I am biased towards him. But at the same time, I keep it real. I say to you guys that, no, he did avoid Kell Brook. I wanted to see that fight. As a Khan fan, I didn't want him not to fight Kell Brook. What fan? Come on. What fan, even if you're a fanboy of that fighter, doesn't want to see his fighter fight the best or fight the guys that people want to see him fight? Come on. What fan? You tell me. What fan? Like, I don't know any Canelo Alvarez fan that doesn't want to see him fight Arthur Beterbiev. You're not a fan. If you don't want to see Canelo fight Arthur Beterbiev, you're not a fan. You're not a fan. Simple as that. If you don't want to see Canelo Alvarez fight Arthur Beterbiev, then you're not a fan. You're not a fan. Because how can I just don't see how any fan wouldn't want their fighter to fight the best. You know, I saw the video and I just thought that he's saying that the Canelo fans just want Canelo to go on, and fight whoever, and deep inside they don't want to see Canelo take any threats because they don't want to see him lose. I don't get it, but Canelo fought Golovkin. That was a real threat. Canelo fought Lara. That was a real threat. Canelo fought Danny Jacobs. That was a real threat. Wasn't Danny Jacobs the same guy that a lot of people thought beat Golovkin? I just find it staggering. Like, I find it staggering that we criticize a guy that's fighting champions, but yet a lot of other guys aren't fighting top tier opposition, and he's ducking all of those guys, but those guys don't seem to be fighting each other. But we accept that. As a Canelo fan, I want to see Canelo fight I've just, like I said, I can't state enough. I've even told you guys that I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. That's the best fight to make in boxing. I hope that fight gets announced next. That's out of every fight, that's the fight I want to see. No Canelo fan is afraid of him fighting Jamal Charlo. Like, why would a Canelo fan be afraid of him fighting Jamal Charlo? Because they view that he's a dangerous fight. Like, no. No. Canelo fans want to see him fight Jamal Charlo. They want to see him go in there with Jamal Charlo because they know he can beat Jamal Charlo. They know he can beat Andrade. When I say to you, I think Canelo beats Andrade and I feel Canelo beats Jamal Charlo, I'm not saying it because I'm a fanboy of him. I'm saying it because stylistic. I mean, I'm talking styles. I'm talking his experience. I'm just talking his ring IQ, what I've seen of him over the years. Like, I just don't see those guys beating him. But I'm not afraid of him going in the ring and potentially losing to those guys. Like, if you're a fan, right, of Canelo and you're a hardcore fanboy, like I am of Amir Khan, if you don't want to see him go in there with a Beterbiev because you're afraid that Beterbiev may beat him, then I'm sorry. I don't feel that you're a proper boxing fan. Because no boxing fan is like that. No, like, we all want to see our fighters fight the best. Because firstly, we hurt our legacy. Like I said, Amir Khan hurt his legacy here in the UK by not fighting Kell Brook. He's hurt his legacy. People talk about that. He ducked him. And even if Khan beats Kell Brook next month, right, it's not going to make any difference. If he loses, he's going to be a laughingstock. If he wins, people are going to say, oh, well, Kell Brook was washed. He can't win either way. And that's what happens. It doesn't matter about Khan knocking out Zab Judah, Khan dismantling Devin Alexander, Khan beating Marcus Maidana. They don't care about that because the British fans wanted him to see fight Kell Brook. And they never forgive him. And maybe a lot of those fans wanted to see Khan go down. Maybe a lot of those fans wanted to see Khan go down against Kell Brook. And even if he had beaten Kell Brook in his prime, maybe he still wouldn't have got credit, but at least he would have done it. And this is what I'm trying to say about... I'm trying to say about Canelo, in the sense that I do think that Canelo has fanboys that probably say those things. Manny Pacquiao had similar fanboys, but most boxing fans, even if you're a fan of a certain fighter, want to see their fighters fight the best. There may be a selected few, but majority of boxing fans want to see their fighters take on the best, even if they're fanboys of them. Because firstly, that fighter's legacy would be hurt. Secondly, as a fight fan, I want to see the best fights. I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev because I know how much of a classic that would be. Not because I don't want to see it, because you know what? Canelo might lose that fight. Yes, Canelo might lose to Beterbiev. But so what? My estimation of Canelo will rise, not go down if he fights and loses. Because I'll be like, wow, he took on a monster in the light heavyweight division. He took on an absolute killer. And he lost. It doesn't matter. He fought a top guy. There's no shame in losing when you're fighting the best like that. And I was staggered. I was staggered by some of the stuff that, I heard in that video. But I just don't think he's right. That if there are Canelo fans like that, then they're not boxing fans. But, like, you've got to differentiate that there are going to be certain types of fans that maybe think like that. But there's also Canelo fans like myself, Canelo fans that come on my channel that don't think like that. That want to see Canelo fight the best. No Canelo fan doesn't want to see him fight Andrade, or doesn't want to see him fight Bivol, or doesn't want to see him fight Beterbiev because they're afraid they may lose to... Like, come on. What kind of thing, What kind of thinking is that? Because you want to see Canelo enhance his legacy, and you know by beating Beterbiev, Canelo's legacy will go through the roof. So surely you want to see that fight, especially when it's a winnable fight, especially when Canelo could beat Beterbiev. Why would I want to see Canelo keep fighting Rocky Fielding or keep fighting? Like, why? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Don't want to see that. Like, no, I wasn't happy with Canelo fighting Rocky Fielding. I wasn't. I didn't care about that fight. I wasn't interested in, like, I knew Canelo was going to win that fight. I didn't want to see Canelo fight Yildirim, but I knew that what Canelo was trying to achieve. Canelo, that was just a tick-over fight. Canelo was going to fight Callum Smith, fight Yildirim, fight Billy Joe, then fight Caleb Plant. And that's exactly what he did. He already set it out, what he was going to do. And in terms of Benavidez, like, I don't understand where this narrative comes with Benavidez. Like, Canelo, like, Benavidez is this real, you know, dangerous guy. And Canelo, like, if I'm not mistaken, that Benavidez would be a huge underdog. You see, this is what I keep saying, that a lot of these guys, like, you think, like Andre, Charlo, Benavidez, for example. If the Charlo fight happens, let's see the odds on that fight. Let's see how big a favorite Canelo would be. See, a lot of people that dislike Canelo Alvarez don't understand that a lot of those fights that they think, like your Charlo, your Andres, Benavidez, if Canelo beats them, he doesn't really get that much credit. He doesn't really get that much credit. I'm telling you, here, if in England, if Canelo beats Andre, that's expected. If Canelo beats Charlo, that's expected. No British fan is going to say, oh my God, Canelo just beat Charlo. We expect that. Mate, I don't know what people thinking over America, but we expect that here. We expect Canelo to beat Charlo. Nobody looks at that and thinks, wow, you know, Charlo. That Charlo, he's gonna. People think like that here about Beterbiev. Yes, people think Beterbiev beats Canelo here in the UK. A lot of people think that Canelo's not gonna go near Beterbiev. But nobody's having the same. Nobody thinks that about Charlo or thinks that about Andre. So sometimes I think certain set of fans have a feeling that, you know, Canelo beating Andre, no. In my opinion, I don't think that win or Canelo beating those guys does as much as what maybe someone like Christian thinks. In my opinion, the hardest fight for Canelo Alvarez, the fight that will enhance Canelo's legacy, right? And this is something that Max Kellerman said, is Beterbiev. Even Max Kellerman said that Canelo wants Canelo to fight Beterbiev. He didn't say he wants Canelo to fight Andrade. He said, I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev, Max Kellerman. Right? He said, I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev. I want to see Canelo fight Beterbiev because I know that's the fight. That's the fight that people want to see. Would I want to see an Andrade fight? Do I want to see a Charlo fight? Absolutely. I would love to see those fights. But not over a Beterbiev fight, because I know the Beterbiev fight, firstly, is going to do more for Canelo's legacy. It's a harder fight. You know, it's against a guy that's a unified light heavyweight champion at 175. Those guys are smaller. So if Canelo does beat them, they'll say, oh, well, Canelo beat a guy that was coming up in his first fight. There's no excuse about Beterbiev, though. They might be, oh, he's old if he beats him. But I'm telling you, that guy is... that if Canelo beats Beterbiev, majority of the boxing fans, like maybe 90%, would come together and just say, wow, that's a great win. There's no excuse. I just think there comes to a point where we need to start giving fighters that put in the work more credit. Canelo will fight, in my opinion, will fight Charlo, Benavidez. Or, out of Charlo, Benavidez, Bivol, Andrade, Beterbiev, all these 5 names, Canelo will fight most of them. He might not fight all of them, but he'll fight most of them. But then what we don't want is excuses if he fights them. Oh, this guy was coming up. Oh, this guy was this, that, and the other. Don't want to hear excuses. I personally think Canelo will fight Charlo next. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the things that I said. Let me know about, what you think. I want to see the best fight the best. Don't get it twisted. I want to see the best fight the best. And most for boxing fans want to see the best fight the best. I don't know what Canelo fans or what fans don't want to see, Canelo fight the best. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.